So step number 2 is to prepare a legacy plan. And legacy plan is exactly what it sounds like. It's a plan to keep the legacy of your practice going, that it'll transition to someone else, that it'll continue on beyond you. And starting the first part of developing a legacy plan is to define your exit goals, right? What are you trying to do and when are you trying to do it, right? So you want to decide whether you want to sell the practice outright or transition to an associate. But what you don't want to do is just phase it out gradually, because that's the worst possible situation for an upper cervical practice. You want to set a target retirement date and financial goals, right? You want to be thinking about, all right, well, this is when I want to transition out of practice, and this is how much money I want to have at that point saved, invested. This is what I envision I'm going to get for my practice, and we'll talk more about valuation later. All these types of things in mind as you are planning your exit. You also want to consider if you want to maintain any involvement in the practice post-sale. Some doctors want to continue to consult with the practice in some way, shape, or form, or mentor the new clinic owner, right, or some things like that. And establishing a timeline for that, of if you do want to stay involved in some way beyond the sale, what that looks like. Another part of establishing a legacy plan is to set up your estate plan, right? You want to establish or update your estate plan. So this is a will or a trust. These are the most common things that you need to have in place. You want to make sure that you spell out what happens with the business sale proceeds, right? This is obviously if you sell the practice, or if you pass away and then the practice goes on to your beneficiaries, right? So you want to consider a revocable living trust, to avoid probate for sure. You want to choose or update your beneficiaries, designate who will receive the practice sale proceeds, other assets, update life insurance policies, retirement accounts, business interests, all these types of things, and assign the power of attorney, healthcare directive. It appoints someone to handle financial medical decisions if you become incapacitated, ensure they have authority over business-related matters. So this is just good planning, no matter where you are in practice, to have this set up that if anything happens to you, that there'll be clear directions on what needs to happen with the practice. That's a really important part of having a legacy plan in place. And it's going to give your spouse peace of mind. It's going to give your team more peace of mind. They would need to know what happens to you, or what happens to the practice if something happens to you. On this legacy plan, you'll need some people to help you with it, right? Obviously, with the estate planning, an estate planning attorney is typically who's going to help you to draft or update your will, trusts, legal documents, those types of things. We also recommend working with a practice consultant. We do help doctors with this. We help doctors build out a transition plan. And it really is important to have somebody that can kind of coordinate all the different aspects of this, because there is a lot of different things that are involved in this when it comes to transitioning out of practice well. You'll also need a CPA or tax advisors to help reduce capital gains, estate tax liabilities. You may need a financial planner to reinvest or manage proceeds post-sale. And you may need a business broker as well when you get closer to sale, just to help you maximize the value of your practice and get buyers, right? So these are some of the people that you want to be thinking about starting to either, add into your group of advisors, or start to think about that as that time comes.